All right. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, this final topic brought to you by Patreon. So shout out to you, Steven Insler. You're the Patreon producer this month and pretty much every month forever.
Yeah, he continues to sit there and do it. He's awesome.
And I love you and support you as I look into Greg's eyes.
Thank you.
Because I love
look into my eyes, but feel Colin and smell Kevin.
No, I don't want to smell Kevin.
Think about Nick.
Can I please not. I'm thinking about Nick.
I don't smell that.
It's debatable.
No, it's not.
Which part of you?
It's not debatable.
Oh.
I found out yesterday his balls are really hot.
You got them hot balls?
Yeah. I came the thing in, and he, of course, shoves everything as close as he can to the door. So then I was like, I'll give him, this is what he wants, clearly. So I sat on him, and then I rubbed my butt around on him, and I was like, oh, man, your balls are hot.
Damn.
That's fucking erotic.
We were at Starbucks today, and he got one of those chorizo sandwiches, which are good, but I can't stand them. And I've realized today why. Is because of the smell. The smell smells like Kevin, and I don't like it.
He smells like chorizo?
And then the Starbucks chorizo. I don't know that it's real.
I love chorizo. I gotta smell Kevin more.
It's good. But
you smelled my armpit.
Then he's like, it smells like sweat. And I'm like, oh, Kevin smells like sweat.
I don't. That's a lie.
I get it.
Remember,
he doesn't smell like BO. There's a difference.
Armpit?
It's not the BO. It's
I believe it.
Like this, you smelled it and you're like, damn, you smell good. I think, let's play live maybe?
Don't believe it.
All right.
This topic,
all right,
of course, brought to you by Patreon, all the Q&A, all that stuff. This one's brought to you by Prometheus and Bob over the Kind of Funny forums. If you have a topic for us, go to kindoffunny.com/Gamescast topic. Leave your questions, just like my boy Prometheus and Bob did. It's a long one, but a good one.
Wait, hold on. Kevin's like frantically pointing around and grabbing his phone, all frustrated.
Oh, and the Patreon people, thank you very much. Didn't know we were doing that today, but cool. You're awesome. You make things happen. You get Kevin eating them chorizo sandwiches that I love smelling so much.
Since we're putting a bunch of we're doing a bunch of stuff right here at the front. Kevin, put a frog face on me for the next 5 seconds. Thank you, Kevin.
I feel like I'm in a bad dream.
All right. Prometheus and Bob ask, is Marvel about to take over the gaming world? Last week, Polygon spoke to Marvel Games Vice President Jay Ong and asked him if Marvel vs. Capcom fans would finally get some relief from his team, either in the form of a new game or a balance patch. His response was vague, but optimistic. There's nothing we can say at this time. Let's just say that we hear that a lot. We love our fans and we certainly want to please them. Beyond that, we can't say anything at this time, but who knows what the future holds. Marvel Games has a lot of things in the works, quite a few in the console space that are unannounced. What has been announced is a game set in the Marvel Universe from Telltale Games and a new Spider-Man from Insomniac Games for PlayStation 4. What do you guys think?
The answer is yes. This goes back to, I've said it a lot this past week, but to bring you all up to speed, this goes back to you and I going to see Age of Ultron at that screening and Bill Roseman coming out and being like, what's up? I'm in charge of Marvel Games. Here's the 2 other guys who are doing this. We are out to make awesome games. We have not done that in a long time. We are aware of our shortcomings. And I'm paraphrasing, obviously. We are out to fix this and make Marvel a force to be reckoned with in the video game industry the way it is right now in movies, as it is on Netflix, as it is on TV. And that was when they announced the Telltale game, where I was like, oh my God, that's awesome. And now they're announcing this Insomniac game. And I think it's interesting because Insomniac, for some reason, to me, means more than the Telltale one, but they're the exact same level of let's take our properties that we care about and give them to the people that make the best kind of games for those things. And I didn't understand the connection until Disney Infinity died. And they're like, we're getting out of this. We're not going to do this anymore. And then it was like, it clicked of like, oh, Marvel was just ahead of that in terms of like, okay, cool. We're not going to just go to Activision and say, here's a multi-year deal. If you get a game out every 9 months, all right, great, cool. And then Beanox is making Spider-Man for Spider-Man for Spider-Man. Let's start really good and then go to garbage. Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, I think we're just to the tipping point right now where you're about to see, and when I say about to see, I mean announcements you're about to see of all this start to pay off. So far we know Spider-Man, and that's it really, right? We know that something's happening at Telltale. We just talked about in the last topic, no idea what it is. But you figure if that's happening, what are the think about the other best, developers that are making third-person action games, first-person whatever, and what could that apply to a Marvel property? Where does that go?
Like imagine an Iron Man game that's good.
Yeah.
There's so much potential there.
Yeah, 100%.
The flight and all that stuff, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm excited for all this. I do kind of simultaneously worry, and I'm super excited for a world where there's a shit ton of Star Wars games and a shit ton of superhero games where all of the top developers are just making these games, but it's like whatever, as long as they're good.
And that's the thing, as long if they take it to the way Star Wars has, where it's like, all right, cool, we have this property, we're gonna give it to a bunch of developers, but we want them to be great. Like, I mean, think about like, I know it's a long shot, and I can't imagine it would have happened, but again, Rocksteady isn't owned by WB. So like, what if?
Oh man.
What if there's a conversation going on over there of them taking on Iron Man or some other, I mean, a Daredevil game, whatever? That'd be insane, and that would be a game immediately that everybody's like, "Yep, on board with 1,000%."
Yeah. What do you think, Colin?
I don't know. I don't have any insight other than I think that the proper the proper management of expectations and with games with Rocksteady and DC showed, and Warner Brothers showed that you can get great games that aren't tethered to movies specifically, and people still care about them. I think Marvel runs way more of a risk in the movie in every realm of oversaturating, and so like I think you have to be very careful with the things you choose to do and the developers you choose to do, especially because the gestation period of games is way longer than it is with a TV show or even with a movie. So. So you have to just make sure you're setting the seeds properly in a way that makes the most sense. But I think that you'll see more from them in the AAA space from developers that you know. And I think that's a smart thing to do.
I would love to see a games universe, a Marvel games universe.
Sure.
Where it's not tied to the movies or the comics or whatever, but the Spider-Man game is related to the Telltale games, is related to whatever else we got out there.
Well, see, that's what's interesting from the previous topic we were talking about, right? And the fact that like we're talking about, the gestation period's so long, right? Telltale can move quicker. Does that mean they're working on something different than what Insomniac's working on with Spider-Man?
Exciting times.
Go to the best people, give them the best stuff.
Rondine Barron says, I had bought Wolfenstein The Next Order at launch and quickly grew bored of it. Sorry, it's all inverse. And was very disappointed. Recently, I decided to pick it up again and realized I had just needed to get through the awful beginning to experience one of 2014's best games. My question is, have you ever been unhappy with the game but then loved it after going back years later?
Years? I don't know if it's ever been. I remember the best example, and it's not even a great example, is I played a whole bunch of Red Dead and then got to Mexico and was like, Mexico's fucking boring, and left. And then I remember, and usually when that happens, especially nowadays, if I leave a game, I'm never coming back, even if I have the best intentions of coming back. And I did come back to Red Dead and I did get through it, and then it got awesome again, I thought, personally.
Final Fantasy VI took a lot from me.
Yeah.
I remember I started it and it was, I played 10 first. And then I went back to 7, and then I played 6. And for some reason, I played the first couple hours, and I was just like, not for me. And then like years later, I went back, and now it's one of my favorites. Metroid Prime was similar too, where I've started that game probably 6 times before I actually went through and beat it all. Excellent game.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of anything off the top of my head because I move so quickly that I rarely go back. The last game I remember trying to go back to was Final Fantasy X, and it didn't work out so well. So it's not quite the story he's talking about. But I told you just gotta get through that intro in Wolfenstein, and then you're golden.
SSJ Davey says, "Hey Tim and the coolest dudes in video games. When PlayStation All Stars were announced, everyone hated on it for being a Smash Bros. Clone, even though it didn't play like Smash at all. My question is simple: why don't Sony just rip off Smash property and say fuck it to the haters? Crash Team Racing did it to Mario Kart, and dare I say it, Crash Team Racing is better. So why not just coat Smash with PlayStation characters and let the great gameplay of Smash mixed with PlayStation characters?"
Yeah, why
That's
didn't they
what
do that?
I'm saying.
Why didn't they do that?
It's too late.
Yeah,
I agree.
no. The ship's out of the port now, but back in the day.
I mean, that it was earlier in the first time we were talking about Mighty Number 9. It's like, that's the problem. Is like, it's Smash, but it's not Smash. I wanted to like PS Battle Royale more than anybody. Great, give me more Smash. And then you play it and you're like, this isn't it. It's not even almost there. It's just like pretending to be almost there. And I was like, damn, man. And there's no Crash in that. Come on, step your goddamn game up. Now what would happen in 2016? Crash would be there. He'd be hanging out and everybody would be happy about it. And you're right. Crash Team Racing is better than Mario Kart. We fucking said it.
Damn.
It is.
Not
Everyone
Double
knows
Dash.
that. Oh, it's better than Double Dash. Absolutely. Chuck says, "Hey guys, I'm a big user of my local library. It's how I read all the Walking Dead, Saga, and Invincible. While searching for my next read, I came across Call of Duty Black Ops 3. I put a hold on it, and a week or two later, it was ready for pickup. I have now put Quantum Break on hold as well. As someone who creates art, I'm a performer at the Second City, I know what it's like to not always get paid for what you create. I feel a bit conflicted. Is it a dick move to consume someone's work without paying for it? Thanks, and I appreciate your hard work."
Well, he's doing it the right way. I mean, it's a library. It's not like he's pirating out of the games. You figure there's a barrier to entry for that. He has to put it on hold. He has to wait. The library only has one copy of Black Ops or something, one copy of Quantum Break. There's a difference there in terms of like somebody who goes up and like the whole entitlement. Well, I bought too many games this month. I can't afford another one, but I can go just download this game illegally and play it forever and be done with it. I mean, I think when he's not in the financial situation he is now, you pay it forward and you buy more stuff, right? That's what we always talk about, where it's like, yeah, 90% of the games we get are free. So like when I do see something that I want and we're not getting it early, I'll go buy it. When I play a game and I'm not even sure if I'll ever get to what I want in the season pass, but I've enjoyed the game, like The Witcher, I'll buy the season pass out of my own pocket. Like it's my way, I feel, of contributing back to it, the system that we're in.
Yeah, that's my thing with physical games. It's like usually we'll get the code or whatever, but I'm like, I want to buy this and I want the physical one. So
Yeah.
I get that. Yeah, I think it's obviously money is very important, but when these people that are making art want you to enjoy the art, I think first and foremost, at least a lot of them, depending on who it is.
Sure.
But I mean, I think we're a perfect example, right? Like I wouldn't call what we do art, but we are creating something and we put everything out for free, in some way, shape or form eventually. Sure. And I think it's like, if you want to pay, but otherwise just enjoy and spread the word. I think that there definitely is a value in liking something and telling people you like it and going from there. You even writing in, talking about this is a good way to do that. It's kind of spreading your enjoyment.
The analog to him taking games out of the library is taking books out of the library, which has been happening forever, where you could go and buy that book and, great, you get it money, do this, they make more books, more second edition, da-da-da. I think it's in the same field where if the library is meant to house works of art, pieces of pop culture, whatever, then this is fine.
Tom Rosati says,
Tom
Rosati. Hey guys, first time posting. Just want to hear your thoughts on talks of the Vivendi takeover of Ubisoft. Do you feel it could hurt Ubisoft or help them? As much flack as Ubisoft gets, they make some really great games and allow for their smaller studios to create games like Valiant Hearts and Grow Home. Yves Guillemot seems to be a very passionate CEO, and losing him seems like it would hurt the company as well. Also, that new Ghost Recon looks hella fun.
Fuck yes,
Thanks,
it does.
Keep on being kind of funny.
You risk, whenever you go public, you risk hostile takeovers. So that's just inherent. It doesn't often happen, but it does happen. And if they're taken over by another company, things are obviously going to change for them. I think you'll just have to pay attention to how things change at Gameloft, since that has already been taken over by Vivendi. You also have to remember that Vivendi was in this space before with Activision and Blizzard, right? And in 2011 and 2012, and it didn't seem to pan out too well for them. So I don't know that they're partners that Ubisoft wants. Clearly they don't want them, but they're going to probably get them. So
it's fascinating to watch. I do think that it'll change what Ubisoft is, because there'll be new people at the helm, and it'll be what is the most important thing. I don't think the games that are on the slate now you have to worry about, but you do have to worry about leadership changeover, people leaving, being forced out.
What do you think it means for Beyond Good and Evil 2?
I hope somebody walks in like, no, nobody wants this.
Final question comes from McBiscuits. 8675. Hey guys, what's your opinion on the majority of PlayStation's big exclusives being third-person action games? The Uncharted series and The Last of Us are amazing and very successful, but now most of their IP seems to be very similar. Days Gone, Horizon, blah blah blah.
My favorite type of game, so I'm all for it.
Yeah, it is weird, but like, what else are we gonna have? Like only other perspective. The valid perspective in these shooty boom boom kind of games is
shooty boom boom games,
first person shooters, and they do those too with Killzone. Although we haven't gotten one recently, I think that's just the way a lot of games are played these days. So they're not all the same. Like Days Gone and Horizon are open world role playing games. God of War is a more linear, tighter action game. The Last Guardian is not a third,
Detroit Become Human is not going to give you the action experience.
So I think that like you would just have to kind of get a little deeper into the genetics of the games as opposed to just looking at them aesthetically. Yeah, they're all third person. I mean, it doesn't mean anything.
You're going to see second party partnerships, like everything that happens with Housemarque, bring you the arcade titles that are side scrollers or whatever 2.5D.
Yeah, Matterfall.
Yeah.
Yep.
It'll be there. Don't worry.
There you go.
And Paragon is there right now in beta access. No one
Ladies
can
and
tell you anything
gentlemen,
about the game though.
This has been the first ever episode 74 of the Kind of Funny Gamescast. Thank you very much for joining us. We will see you next week. This has been fun.
Like, I have never seen any of these characters. You got Jax over here with his red arms, Scuba Man. This just looks like the Overwatch gorilla, but in a red outfit.
Yeah, it kind of does look like a Winston. I'm a nerd now. Deal with it, Greg. Hit me up on PSN at Tim Gettys.